Hi artists, I'm super excited to draw this dinosaur with you guys today. And drawing this dinosaur, you can use any type of paper you want, any size paper you want. You can draw them as big or as small as you would like. Now, one thing, remember, if you draw anything, you have to look at these 5 lines, because anything in this world is made up out of these 5 lines. Is the dot, circle, straight line, curved line, angle lines. And this dinosaur was completely drawn using these 5 lines. So instead of being overwhelmed and looking at this whole drawing and not knowing where to start and how to do it, focus on only drawing these lines. What does that mean? That means you look at a line like this one, curved, then you look at the next one, you look at the next one, you look at the next one, and so on and so on and so on. That's how you hopefully get this whole drawing on your paper. So again, this is a dot, round, colored in. This is a circle, not colored in, can also be an oval. This is a straight line, who sometimes can be just horizontal, can be diagonal. If you look at this one right here, you have it right there. This one, that one. Curved line, which most of this dinosaur is drawn using curved lines. Different ways, but they're all curved. And then last is angled. Obviously, look at the teeth, sharp and angled. So let's get going. Oh, one other thing. If you, for example, draw your dinosaur and you end up not getting all of it on your paper and it looks like this, there is nothing wrong with that. You don't have to have the whole animal on your paper. Same with if you don't get the bottom on your paper. Doesn't matter either. This is a beautiful piece, beautiful, 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 beautiful. Not so, because the head's important. Okay, let's start. You can do it with Sharpie, colored pencil. It's up to you. I'm gonna do it with marker so you guys can see it a little better. So I'm gonna zoom, should I zoom in a little? Yes, I will. Okay, so you guys can see it a little better. So very first mark I'm making on my paper is the circle for the eye. And remember, if you make this really big, there is nothing wrong with that. You're just gonna end up not having enough space, and it's fine if you don't get the whole thing on your paper. Mine, because it's my second one, I'm not gonna probably end up exactly like that. We'll see. Okay, I'm gonna do a circle. And inside that circle, I did a triangle, angle line. You can certainly do a dot or another way how you draw the eyes. It's up to you. I'm gonna leave a little bit of white, give them some reflective highlights. The top of the eye is a curved line. So right there, I'm gonna curve. And before I draw the actual snout, what's easier for me is I wanna draw this bottom part. And if I look, this curves, and then it curves like an S shape. And this angle is like right below. This is what I'm gonna do. I'm gonna help myself with putting a tiny dot here. It's this dot. So what I'm gonna do is curve this. And now I'm gonna curve up, curve down, and get the length for my mouth. So I'm gonna curve up, curve down, and I'm gonna go up. All right, I think this is a little longer than that one. Does that matter? Nope. Okay, the end of the snout, this is up to you. You can go from the eyebrow curve and end up at the tip, or you go from here and end up at the eyebrow. I think I'm gonna do from here. I'll just go here, this way, that. All right. Looks a little more curved, but nothing wrong with that. I'm gonna put a dot right here, and I'm gonna extend that eyebrow line kind of towards the nostril. Okay, next part, I think easiest would be this straight diagonal line. if you draw this line really long, he's going to have an enormously open mouth, which is okay. He can have that. If you draw this straight line really tiny, his mouth is almost closed. If you, for example, draw none of this, if I can cover it, if this is not there, and you move the underside, just draw the underside, you could have a mouth that is closed. Yes. I'm going to draw my mouth open, so I'm going to draw a diagonal line. I'm going to place it about right here, right there. And now look how I closed it. I didn't just draw a line that goes up right here, a straight line. I'm going to follow this tiny straight line, which is horizontal, and then I go up. So I'm going to draw a tiny straight line, and then I go up right there. Kind of an odd shape, isn't it? Okay, the bottom of the jaw, this is, you guessed it, a curved line. So right here, I'm going to curve my line right there. Okay, let's finish the bottom of the jaw. Right here, you see there's a giant curved line for the jawline. I think I'm going to draw that first, and then I'm going to finish this. Or you can go from here back and up. I'm going to start right here. Giant curve jaw right here. And then from there, I'm going to draw this. All right. See how this head is way bigger? Does not matter. Okay, now this is to me the funnest part, adding the teeth. You can have really long ones, sharp ones, tiny ones, is up to you. This is what makes, I'm going to have a really long one here, makes your dinosaur fierce. Okay, this one, mine, I'm going to point them a little backwards, like shark teeth, like that. Okay, you can add a tongue or not, it's up to you. However, if you add a tongue and your teeth are in the way, you have to stop, jump over, and then continue your tongue, because the tongue is behind all that. Mine's gonna kind of go this way. Whoa, he has a really long tongue. Huge. Okay. All right, that's the head. So next, let me push this over, and I'm going to go up a little bit so we can see more. Next, what I'm going to draw is this diagonal line for the neck. And look where it's located. If I would take my pencil and extend it, it would touch right here. So this is kind of how I get a feeling on where I'm going to place my line. So it starts right there. I'm going to draw a diagonal line. They're not very long. Now he also has this curved line. It's like a chest line. It does not curve like this. Do you see the difference? It's very slight. It's almost like if I would extend this as a straight line. Do you see this? Guys, if I would extend this as a straight line, you have just a tiny, tiny curved line. So, but it's in the same diagonal direction. Like that. Okay, look at the claws. I'm going to zoom in so you see it. I'm not even going to pay attention to what's happening inside the body. I'm going to only look, let me cover that with paper. I'm only looking at this right here. And if you look at it, you guys have all seen it, it's like a rectangle, skinny rectangle with an angle line for a claw. There's a tiny rectangle attached to this, and then another angle line for the claw. It's not very big, long. They had very short, tiny, stumpy hands. Let me go up a little bit so you guys can see it. All right, so right here, I'm going to draw a rectangle, go back. Yes, let me go lower. Okay, add a claw. And then I'm going to add a tiny rectangle right here, another claw. And then the other arm, which is behind this one, I only basically see this part. So I'm going to go up and draw another rectangle with an angle line for the claw, and then, oh, the nail right here. That's it. Okay. So next what I'm going to do is, my dinosaur is going to go off the page, but oh, we'll make it happen. So I'm going to quickly extend this belly line right here. And it's not very long. It curves a little bit. So, but I have to basically start right here. So I'm going to extend this curve just a little bit. So now I can finish my leg part, this part right here inside my dinosaur. And look at this, looks like the letter L. It looks like the letter L, and then you just connect it. So I'm going to go up, curve this way, curve that way, and I'm going to connect this. That's your leg. Okay? So now comes the back leg. I'm going to move, just so you guys see it a little better, I'm going to move my dinosaur off the page so we can only focus on the leg, this leg right here. Doesn't work. Hold on. Does that work? Nope. I'm sorry. No, it works. I wanted you to see this, but oh well. So what I'm going to draw first is this big curved line. Do you guys see this? They had really large back legs. So what I'm going to be paying attention to, though, is that I'm not going to draw it so big, like from here down to there, and then I'm running off out of paper. I'm going to make sure that I actually get this onto my page. I'm going to go right here. That's my leg. I see that. Okay. Next, if you look at this line, so I drew this curved line. Next comes a vertical straight line right here, this one. I'm going to add that. And I'm going to stop for now. Because what I'm going to do next is I'm going to draw this back line. And I want you to quickly pay attention what I'm going to do and how I'm going to do this. Before I actually draw any of this, I'm going to give myself a little bit of a help by putting a tiny dot, and I did it right there. Do you see this? So I'm going to figure out how wide I want this back leg to be. So it's basically directly opposite where I ended from that belly line. So I end it right here. I think I want his leg to be probably, I'm going to make his big. I'm going to put a dot right there. So this is how big that leg's going to be. Do you guys see that? So now if you look at this shape, this is the letter S. Now you have to figure out how long do you draw this letter S. You have to pay attention. Do you see when we drew this curved line where we stopped and then we drew a straight line going down? I'm going to make my letter S stop a little bit below it, and I'm going to put another dot right there. So right below this, I'm going to put a dot about right there. So I have two dots. I have essentially, let me show you, I drew this dot. Right below it, I drew this dot. I paid attention that it is longer than where this line ended. And now I'm going to draw my letter S, very slight curve letter S. I'm going to curve this way and out. That's it. I could have done this a little more extreme, but oh well. So now I'm going to draw the bottom part of the foot, and we ended right here. This is where we ended, right here. I'm going to curve this inward slightly, and it's definitely longer than this one, but it goes straight down. I'm going to curve this and then end up right there. Oh, so it looks like that. I'm going to go in a little bit closer. Hope you can see it. Okay, so there's not that much more to this foot. Now we have this opening right here. See this? We have this opening. So what I'm going to draw next is this straight line. Then I'm going to go up a tiny bit and just curve into my leg part right there. I'm gonna leave a little bit of a gap right here because I have another toe that I have to fit in there. So the way I'm gonna do this is I'm gonna draw this line forward. I'm gonna go up and curve this way. I'm gonna even make this a little longer. Okay, let's add a claw right there. So now from this, I'm gonna add my my second toe. So this, I'm gonna pull this into my second rectangle almost, you can call it, and then add another claw or another nail. So I'm gonna draw this right here, add another nail right there. So now I only have drawn 2 claws and with the nails. I want to attach one more, and this one, do you see this? I just added it on the side right there with another claw. So I'm going to draw another rectangle right there and another claw. All right, these are my 3 claws, feet. So next, let's zoom out a little bit so you can see it a little better. We have our leg right here. We stop right here. Now this dinosaur has a giant curved line that goes up into this, what looks like almost big muscle like horses. I'm not gonna draw that yet. I'm gonna actually go a little bit lower and draw this right here, this line right here. So I'm gonna jump over and I'm gonna curve a tiny line going up. So I'm gonna jump over and draw a line going up. It's like this. I apologize if the viewing is not perfect, but okay. So now this, I drew this line, this one right here. This goes into my tail. And now I drew my tail straight and then it curves. You can have your tail go straight and it curves up. You can have your tail completely straight. It's up to you how you draw this. I want to draw mine straight and curve down. So like that. Now one thing you notice on a T-Rex's tail, they actually, I read, use their tail for balance. So it is definitely wider here than here. It turns into a really skinny angle. So to help me out, what I'm gonna do is, see this? I'm gonna mark this end where we just stopped. I'm gonna go up high and I'm gonna put a little dot there, just so that I know when I draw my tail where to go back. I think in mine, let me go up a little higher. I think I'm gonna go maybe about right there. I'm gonna make this a big tail. Okay, so now you can either draw from here to touch the tip of your tail, or you draw from your tail to touch, from the tip of your tail to go back. I'm gonna actually, I think I'm gonna do this. Right there. All right, so now there are only 3 more lines left to finish my dinosaur. I have this line right here, which is curved, and it kind of shows this whole muscle of that back leg. Then I have a little bit of a curve right here, which is the back of my dinosaur, and then the neck part right here. What I think I'm gonna draw first is, I'm gonna first draw this neckline from the head curve down the neck. I'm gonna stop. Then I'm gonna curve this one on the back, and then the back muscle, I guess you could call. So I like to give myself some guiding lines. So if I think, look at this, if this is my straight line, is a little bit shorter, diagonal up. So I think I'm gonna come about right, say about right there. I'm gonna do my neck a little thicker. So the head, see this? Here's my curved line. I'm gonna just basically go straight and curve down to that mark that I just made right here. Made my mark. I'm gonna close this in. So, or you could even go up like this. Like that. Okay, so now next is the curved line for the back, and pay attention to this. Do you see where I started my leg muscle, or the back leg right here? If you go straight up, this is where that back curved line ends. So I'm a friend of making marks, so I'm going to put a mark straight up. I'm going to put it right there. So now I'm going to draw this curved line for this back muscle right there. And then this one, I'm going to curve out a little bit more because this back leg is quite strong. So I'm going to curve like that. Could have done a little smoother, but oh well. So then one last thing for the body is this big curved line for the back leg. Do you see where it's located? We stop right there. I'm gonna curve up and leave a little bit of a gap. So right there. Okay, all right. So this is a one-footed T-Rex. Now, one thing you could do, if you do not want a leg, drawn a leg that looks like this, you could just take a pencil, I'm going to show you guys, or your marker, and watch what happens. I could just draw a parallel line right here. I'm copying this right there, right here. I'm going to add a claw, maybe add another claw, and you had a perfect T-Rex that is just standing. However, if you don't want this, and you, I'm gonna erase it. If you don't want this, if you want him more looking like he has movement, this is the leg we're gonna do. Now look at where I started. I started right here in this corner where this leg part, a little higher, all this starts. So I'm gonna draw a curved line, and right here, a curved line. Leave a little bit of a gap. Or actually, let's do it as a, we're going to draw it as the letter S. Do you see this, guys? It's like a letter S. So if this is your dot for the tail, where we started the tail, I'm going to draw a tiny dot. Just now see that below it. So here's the dot for my tail. Oops, I'm going to cover that. Dot for my tail. I'm going to put it right about here. Oops. Should do it with a marker. So I'm going to put my little marker spot right here. So now I'm going to draw the letter S, slight curved in, and it goes up here. Okay. Now this line right here is shorter. Do you guys see this? It's definitely shorter. I'm not going to draw it as long as this, and I'm going to leave a little bit of a space. So right about here, I'm going to draw a curved line. Oops, I'm sorry. Right there. Now, not that much to this foot. Here is a diagonal line that goes down, but pay attention that the fact that this leg is shorter than this one. So make sure you don't draw your line so long that it's at the same level, because that would optically not be the case because we're drawing it sideways. So I want to draw it shorter. I'm going to draw a diagonal line going down like this. Next comes a tiny line going forward. Oops, I'm going to do it like this. Then this is basically a parallels. This diagonal line goes parallel, and then I just curve it, and I'm leaving an opening right here. So I'm going to do this like that. Okay, he has, oops, I drew only 2 toes. Oh well. I'm going to draw 1 toe, just like this one. I'm going to draw a tiny line that goes up, and then I'm curving back and close this basically. So all I'm going to do right here is zip up, and then I'm going to close this. And I'm going to add 2 more nails right there. Okay, now he has one last tiny claw right here, and the way I drew this was a tiny rectangle right here, right there. So if I wanted to, I could add another claw right here, but I'm going to leave it like that. I think it might be too much. So let me zoom out. You guys can maybe see the whole dinosaur, kind of like that. this leg looks like, I don't know, should have not super happy with this. So if I had done it with an eraser, I would have erased it, but looks okay. I should have done it a little shorter. But that's how you learn, guys. You do it, you mess up, you do it again, you mess up, you do it again, over and over and over. But I hope you get the idea of following and looking at the lines. Next class that I'm going to do with this guy is how could you color him. Maybe give him some realistic lines or some, I know they were really wrinkled. We could, for example, maybe there's some, just quickly, wrinkle lines right here. Here, maybe some lines if we wanted to. Maybe the tail has some lines. We're going to do that next week. Maybe there's a muscle line here, maybe a muscle line there. You could do some, I could now really make them look a little rougher, older here. Okay, hope you had fun.